We're going to be discussing G4. So G4 recently just ended, not even a full year into its relaunch. G4 has been canceled. And I used to watch G4 back in the day when it first kind of came on. Attack of the Show, X-Play. Did you ever used to watch old G4?
Oh yeah, I used to love that channel. It's yeah, it's like Attack of the Show, the X Play stuff. All of that was like daily viewing for me when I was in high school.
Yeah, same with me. Coming home, watching that, very much. Yeah, it was kind of daily viewing, and this is kind of before the internet was as big as it is. I mean, the internet was around, but it was kind of your place. You could go for stuff like movie reviews. It was like video game reviews. Also, mainly was what the channel was focused on. But then also tech stuff. You also had like comic book reviews there. You also had what was also on there that was kind of big on there as well, like funny clips from the internet. Like you had that stuff on there as well that you could kind of see on G4. So this is from Variety. It says that G4 TV shuts down 2 years after Comcast tried to revive the gaming network, resulting in laying off 45 employees. It says Comcast, Spectrum. The cable Spectre, the cable and entertainment giant sports and esports division, told G4 TV employees Sunday that the gaming network was shutting down effective immediately. The decision has resulted in 45 staff members of G4 TV losing their jobs. In a memo obtained by Variety, Comcast chairman CEO David Scott cited low viewership and said the network had not achieved sustainable financial results. Over the past several months, we worked hard to generate that interest in G4, but viewership is low and the network has not achieved sustainable financial results. Scott wrote, "This is certainly not what we hoped for, and as a result, we have made very difficult decision to discontinue G4's operations effective immediately." Comcast in July 2020 said it would reboot G4 TV, which NBC Universal shut it down in 2013 after the network first launched in 2002. Russell Arons, the former WB, Machinima, EA, Mattel executive who joined G4 as president in September 2021, left the company 2 months ago. The content and studio and network officially returned to linear television on November 16th, 2021. After more than a year of the group releasing content online, the test show new concepts at launch. G4 TV was available Comcast, Xfinity TV, Verizon, Fios, Cox Communications, and Internet streaming service. Filio, the network's programming slate, brought back fan favorite legacy shows like Attack of the Show and X-Play. So we're just kind of going to be going through some of the reasons why we think that G4 TV failed, why we think it kind of ended, and kind of detailing. I'm also going to bring up, because some of the former hosts have talked about the situation a little bit, kind of about what happened post it shutting down. Did you watch new G4 when it kind of relaunched?
I didn't even know it was back or what way I could watch it.
Well, I guess that's part of the reason why I feel a lot of people just like.
I guess that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I guess that's part of my. Hey, how's it going there, Lemmy Winks? How you doing there, man? Thanks for showing up. Yeah, I am GOAT. I preferred GOAT. Which one are you, Nick?
The fuck is this question?
It's just like a thing that like a streamer does that Lemmy Weeks, Julian Hemmending, they follow. They do the whole thing. Are you GOAT? Are you fish? Type thing.
I'm GOAT, I guess.
Yeah, so it's like a thing that they do there. But hey, thank you for stopping by there, Lemmy Winks. Yeah, but you did. So you said you didn't even know it was back.
Yeah, I had no clue that it was back. I had no clue that it was TV or even what means it was able to be viewed on. I remember reading that, yeah, G4 is back on Twitch. They're doing the show there, which you're basically doing the show on the thing that has made you kind of irrelevant. It's kind of like Netflix producing a blockbuster show.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why, part of the reason why it fails is that you're dealing with a lot of competition. Like I said before, when the show first got launched in '02, it was like you didn't have all these other type of different internet personalities that were doing a lot of the same things that you were doing, really blowing up the way that they've blown up. Now on Twitch, you have all these different people that do the same thing that you're doing, plus also people who do the YouTube stuff as well. Even somebody that was on their show. I mean, you had the Black Hokage and you had the Completionist, who were two YouTubers, pretty big YouTubers there on the platform. So you did have a kind of a lot more competition there to deal with. Also, I think the fact that they also made it a cable show. I think that was a mistake because you're pumping a lot of money into like having an office and making it a cable show when you should have just scaled way back and just strictly been on YouTube and Twitch. And kind of that would have reduced the cost a lot. And then some of the hosts of the show, they were coming in via Zoom or whatever video chat format they were using anyway. So you could have had that a lot. You know what I mean? I get that people being on the set, and I did watch it when it was on Twitch. I did watch G4 when it was on Twitch. And I think the cast, I mean, seeing they had a lot of more new faces there. They had some returning faces like Kevin Pereira there. He was
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Kevin Pereira came back. I think Adam Sessler also came back.
Yeah.
A couple of the other original hosts came back, but the big one that was missing was Olivia Munn, who I think they announced that she was coming back, but then she just didn't.
I don't believe they ever announced she come back. She was there for like when they did like I remember watching the video they did the YouTube of like the return special. They did like an hour long like kind of like return special they did with it had a lot of the original members. It had like Morgan Webb, it had Olivia Munn, it had Kevin Pereira, it had Adam Slesser. They kind of did that. I don't know if they ever say Olivia Munn was going to come back as well. But yeah, I remember her being a part of that that they did and kind of reminiscing about the start of G4 and everything like that, and what that kind of meant for the culture of gaming, of everything like that. But you did have some returning people there, and Kevin Pereira and Adam Sessler who were there. Who Adam Sessler I don't think was ever on set. He was mostly just via video chat that he would be there. And the content that they would do, I would like some of it. I would like when they were on YouTube, and Adam Sessler would catch up on video games that they didn't get a chance to talk about when the show has been off air since 2013. They would come back and review a lot of kind of older games there, like some of the Arkham games. I thought that was very good review. So to hear I think he's a very good video game reviewer, Adam Sessler, and to hear his thoughts and opinions on things, I thought were very good, and very funny. And I think a lot of the chemistry of having Kevin Pereira back, with a lot of the newer people, I think was also very good. Seeing some of the newer faces like Gina Darling, I thought she was pretty good. I think having the wrestler, I don't know if you know the wrestler, Austin Creed, but he was there, and I think he added. He was one of the best new faces for me that was there. I think he had a lot of charisma, a lot of personality there, and I think he was a big fan of G4 too. As growing up, I think it said that he was a big fan of G4 TV. And it's been one of his dreams to actually be on G4 and be a host on the show, and I think he did very well. And the different segments that they would do, they would try to do some of the same segments they tried to do previously, which is like they try to do the funny clips around the internet. Again, I just think that didn't work too well because it's like you could just go on TikTok and just keep scrolling, and then you could have that other access of your phone. Maybe do a whole show about that. I don't know if to do some of it as like dedicate a segment to it. I don't know if that was maybe best. Also, I think what was kind of good was that like some of the activities that they would do on Twitch, like inviting like they would have big streamers come on, and apparently they would pay them a lot of money to come on. Like I said, they had Amaranth come on, Hassan was on there, Valkyrie, Pokimane, a lot of, and there was a segment called, I think it was like where you guess, it was like kind of like Price is Right type thing where you guess vintage items and see if you can get it right. I thought that that segment was like, especially as much money as you were probably spending on that, probably not such a good idea.
I think, I think the figure came out. It was like 25 to 30,000 a day for any of those guests that would come in. And that's probably not even including flying them, giving them lodging, all of the other expenses that come with that.
Yeah. Which you could have just had them again. It'd have just been cheaper just to again video chat them in because they would do that sometimes as well instead of like you said flying them in and doing all that other stuff to try to accommodate them. And I get that maybe you think like maybe the it's worth it because hey these are big streamers, these are some of the biggest people on the platform, more eyes on them, more eyes on us. I kind of get some of that thinking there. What's another
I,
reason?
I I get some of that thinking, but it's also a case where they're not building up their own stars, which was a big thing in the original G4 run. You had guys like Kevin Barrera, like Adam Sessler, like Olivia Munn, all of whom uh, got their start on that channel, and they're not putting as much effort into building up this new crop of talent that they're bringing on now.
Hmm.
I think that's a big part of why this return of G4 kind of fell flat.
Yeah. Yeah, I would attribute that as well to why it also fell flat. Yeah, and I think also we're going to talk about one of the main things that people say that kind of maybe sank the channel there. Did you see the kind of the Frost rant? I guess it is.
The Frost rant? I have not. No.
Okay, so if you haven't seen that, so you can see the video. You can find the video there. But basically, I mean, her whole thing was her talking about kind of the sexism that she was facing. Being on G4, not from like any of the her coworkers or anything like that, but mainly from the chat, the people there, kind of making comments and things like that, and in the chat, and she would kind of see that, and she was kind of talking about that. In kind of this video message she was, and I'm also gonna show a tweet of her talking about that message now that G4 has ended, and kind of her thoughts on that. But after that kind of happened, there were people that was like, you're attacking the fans. You're saying that all the fans, what I mean, are sexist, misogynist, and then that's the reason that the channel is doing poorly. Which I think the channel, but even though G4 before that, I don't think was doing all that well. I mean, there's some numbers out there that the channel wasn't even really doing all that well even before Frost had her kind of a message to the fans there. But she was kind of just discussing that in its kind of entirety there when she kind of went on that. And again, and there were lots of videos of she became like the new face of kind of like anti SJW kind of rage there of like all the thumbnails of things there of G4 is gonna fail, go woke girl broke type thing there with all that stuff because she made that kind of rant, I guess you want to say. And I think that, so is she kind of partly to blame a little bit, I think, for the failure of G4? Yes and no. Yes, for the fact that because she had that message to people and because she said that, it did make her open to a lot of attacks from people. And when I would go and I would try to look up G4 stuff on YouTube, it wouldn't recommend first the G4 stuff. It was all the anti SJW stuff. It was all the thumbnails and clicks of clickbaiting, rage at her, and not the actual content of G4. And if that's what you're consuming and if that's what you're watching, then you're already going to have a negative attitude towards G4, and you're not already probably going to not watch G4 because of that. So do I disagree with, I think that, hey, she said what she said. It was her message. That's how she felt. And hey, I mean, you're right to say that. And so that's kind of just my, kind of thoughts on that. So I'm not, I think there's a lot of other factors that weighed into the fact that G4 ended. I don't think it's solely on her shoulders that why that network ended.
Yeah, there was way more wrong with the running of G4 besides just this one person's rant about sexism gaming, which, let's face it, is a fucking reality.
Yeah. Especially when you have things like, what was going on in Blizzard and Activision. And I think even Blizzard, even after all their whole situation, they had another case just come out recently about somebody doing something else, I think just recently. But yeah. And so I'm going to show some tweets there. And also Adam Sessler, there was some stuff with him. He comes at a lot of people on Twitter. And I think he's very, very anti Republican, like very huge, like anti-Trump person there on Twitter there. And I think at one point somebody, I can't find the tweet. I think Adam Sessler at one point said that maybe he wished all Republicans would die or something like that. I think at one point I want to make sure. I don't know that for sure, but somebody was saying that. Yeah, but he seems to be like a very, very anti-Republican person. Some people point to that as well of why that the channel ended as well. So I'm going to pull up some tweets there from Adam Sessler and from Frost here. So this is a tweet from Adam Sessler. He says right here, he says, big shout out to tonight. Hold on, let me make it a little bit bigger here. I can't even really see it. There we go. Big shout out tonight to those that run G4 for making my life more miserable than usual when I have barely been working for them in the first place. In for a penny, in for pounding for your bullshit. That's what he kind of said about that situation. And then Frost had kind of a similar kind of complaint when talking about the higher ups at G4. This is a tweet from Frost here. Let me enlarge it a little bit. It says, my sexism in gaming segment was approved by all executive showrunners and X-Play. When I was originally hired and cast, G4 made the internal statement that diversity and inclusion was what it was built on to fix the past. I was fully supported initially until doxing and threats. Then you also have her say, let me scroll down a little bit here. She said something else. Let me scroll down with the image here. She also said that I asked for support multiple times and was ignored or directly lied to about support coming. No guidelines, no plans, no help. Then management changed and it became openly hostile. So that's kind of the situation that kind of happened there. So it seems like some issues there with upper management as far as that talent goes. And how they kind of dealt with the situation. And again, dealing with kind of people online, especially when you're on Twitter and you're dealing with kind of the barrage of other people kind of coming at you, sometimes it can be kind of tough. Mm-hmm. She also made kind of a tweet that people saw as like disrespectful because she made a tweet. At first, it was the announcement of the layoffs of all those employees before it really officially announced that it was shutting down effective immediately, where, she had posted a tweet where she said, she survived. She posted a tweet there that said that. So people took that as her saying that, she didn't care about the workers and employees that got fired as long as she stayed on the payroll. When I think it was more her basically giving a FU to the trolls that wanted her to be fired, but she wasn't fired, and kind of blamed her for the failure of G4. I think it was. But what do you kind of think about that and kind of that situation there?
I mean, yeah, the internet is going to do what they do anytime they see a woman try and speak out against sexism or racism. They just instantly just give her so much hate, undeservedly so. And yeah, that tweet doesn't read disrespectful. I kind of read it as, yeah, that's a fuck you to the trolls that want me gone.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So so that was kind of a big issue there. Yeah. So that was kind of some of the issues there that was with G4. So I don't know. Again, so I don't know if Adam Sessler said all Republicans should die. I don't know if somebody can provide me with that evidence. I don't know if he's. I don't know if he said. I know that he said that they were stupid or they were all terrible. I know he said that, but I don't know if he said they should all die. So somebody show me that. But yeah, so I'm not accusing him of that or that he said that. So yeah, I'll make sure to there because I like his work. I like Adam. I like what he does. Like I said, very great video game reviewer. It's a shame that it's ending. I'm sad that it's kind of ending because, like I said, all the people that worked on it, I mean, they did a lot of hard work on there and on that program. I thought she had some good talent on there. Kasem, and I thought he was pretty cool. I thought the completionist, I thought Black Okage. I've been following Black Okage for a minute, and I thought he did very well on the show. And people like Avali, I thought, she was very good on there as well. So yeah, you had some good talent on there. Like you said, maybe it's also because you didn't really boost the, newer talent that was there. That was kind of maybe one of the problems as well. That was kind of the situation. But I wish everybody there the best of luck. I wish them all best in their future endeavors. I hope that they do very, very well in their careers. So that's kind of my final statement on that. Any final words there, Nick?
Uh, Pretty much that. I hope everyone lands back on their feet.
Yeah. And I did see Kasem. He recommended a lot of the fired employees that were there working on the show. He recommended them to Mr. Beast, and I think Mr. Beast reached out back to him and helped them try to get some employment after the shutdown. So that was very good of him to do. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe a relaunch again. Maybe in 11 more years, maybe a relaunch again. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, maybe you and me, we're gonna be up on there G4 again. Yeah, yeah,
Hey, who knows? Let's make it happen, chat.
yeah.
Hopefully, we get big enough to end up on
Yeah.
on G12 whenever it comes back.